But the story that we are breaking at this moment, there is now a real possibility that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump could be meeting in Kuala Lumpur later this month. The Prime Minister and the President may meet on the sidelines of the Asean summit that is scheduled to take place in Kuala Lumpur in late October. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to travel to Malaysia for that 47th ASEAN summit being held on October 26th and 27th. Malaysia has also invited President Donald Trump to attend the summit. If President Trump travels to Malaysia, this would be the first multilateral meeting where both leaders participate after the 50% tariffs against India came into force. Trump and Modi could not meet on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada in June earlier this year. Pranay Upadhyay, who tracks the Ministry of External Affairs, joins us. Pranay, what are the chances now of this meeting taking place? What are your sources telling you?
Rajdeep, is a long overdue meeting. There are high chances, likelihood of President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi at least meeting each other after a gap of almost 8 months, because at this month end in Kuala Lumpur, ASEAN summit is taking place in Malaysia, and Malaysia is hosting the 47th ASEAN summit, where President Donald Trump is also likely to attend and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also scheduled to visit. It is important for India. ASEAN is a big market for India, and at a time when tariff controversy is on one side, India is engaging with the United States, but on the other side, we are also exploring the other markets, the alternative markets, and ASEAN is a big market for India, where goods and services, we had an FTA with ASEAN. So, in all probability, this is the opportunity for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump to at least meet each other, and it has already been said that all these differences can only be worked out by the meeting of the leaders. So, if the leaders meet, then there are probability, and also there is an important point, Rajdeep, here, that the timeline which was set by both these leaders in February 2025 for the conclusion of the bilateral trade agreement, which is by the fall of 2025, that deadline is also approaching, by this deadline only, this timeline only, and in all likelihood, as President Donald Trump himself said and posted on social media, that India and United States are soon likely to conclude the bilateral trade agreement. So let's see what happens if these leaders meet on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit, and whether we could iron out those differences or not.
Okay, Pranay Upadhyay, with those details, a possibility now of a Modi-Trump meeting. Now, the Prime Minister today, a day ahead of Dussehra, lavished praise on the RSS at an event held in the national capital to mark 100 years of the organization, the parent organization of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Prime Minister saluted the Sangh for its role in nation building. He even recalled RSS's contribution to the freedom struggle. That instantly invited criticism from the opposition, especially from the Congress, which says that the Prime Minister is being economical with the truth and the RSS had no role to play in the independence movement. But 100 years on, what is the RSS's role now in India today? Take a look first at this report.
इस अवसर पर शॉल भेंटकर उनका स्वागत अभिनंदन आप सबकी करतल ध्वनि के साथ करें देंगे।
The RSS completes 100 years on Vijayadashmi. At an event to mark the milestone in Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday unveiled a commemorative postal stamp and a 100-rupee coin. Modi himself, a Swayamsevak, lavished praise on the RSS, calling it an example of sacrifice, selfless service, nation building and discipline.
अपने गठन के बाद से ही राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ विराट उद्देश्य लेकर चला, और ये उद्देश्य रहा राष्ट्र निर्माण। इस उद्देश्य की पूर्ति के लिए संघ ने जो रास्ता चुना, वो था व्यक्ति निर्माण से राष्ट्र निर्माण।
He described the organization as an avatar of national consciousness.
ऐसे महान पर्व पर 100 वर्ष पूर्व राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ की स्थापना ये कोई संयोग नहीं था। ये हजारों वर्षों से चली आ रही उस परंपरा का पुनरुत्थान था। इस युग में संघ उसी अनादि राष्ट्र चेतना का पुण्य अवतार है।
Prime Minister claimed that RSS suffered at the hands of British and faced persecution even after independence.
परम पूज्य डॉक्टर हेडगेवार जी समेत अनेक कार्यकर्ता ने स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन में हिस्सा लिया। 1942 में जब चिमूर में अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ आंदोलन हुआ तो उसमें अनेक स्वयंसेवकों को अंग्रेजों के भीषण अत्याचार का सामना करना पड़ा। हैदराबाद में निजाम के अत्याचारों के खिलाफ संघर्ष से लेकर गोवा के स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन और दादरा नगर हवेली की मुक्ति तक संघ ने कितने ही बलिदान दिए।
Modi ended with a call to be vigilant against demographic changes that could damage the country's communal harmony. The Congress questioned Modi's claims about RSS. Party leaders posted messages about what Sardar Patel wrote about the RSS, an outfit the Iron Man banned after Mahatma Gandhi's assassination.
आरएसएस का गुणगान किस बात के लिए किया जाए? अंग्रेजों की गुलामी करने के लिए, तिरंगे का बहिष्कार करने के लिए, आजादी के महानायकों से नफरत करने के लिए, बाबा साहब को अपशब्द कहकर उनकी फोटो जलाने के लिए, संविधान की प्रतियां फूंकने के लिए, देश के पहले आतंकवादी और महात्मा गांधी के हत्यारे नाथूराम गोडसे को प्रेरित और पोषित करने के लिए। किसी ने ठीक ही तो कहा है, जो देशभक्त थे वो जंग में गए, जो गद्दार थे वो संग में गए।
In the last 5 months, Prime Minister Modi has saluted the RSS at various events. On RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's 75th birthday, he described him as the most transformative leader the Sangh has had. Prime Minister Modi's glowing tributes notwithstanding, the RSS legacy is still a topic of heated debate. With Piyush Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now, my first guest tonight is Sheshadri Chari, senior RSS leader, someone who's been the editor of the RSS's organizer magazine. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Chari. Thank you very much. RSS at 100. The Prime Minister calls it a selfless organization committed to nation building. The opposition says that the RSS continues to divide society, particularly on religious grounds. Do you believe that the RSS even today is seen through the lens of its idea of a Hindu Rashtra?
No, this opposition against RSS is not new, Rajdeep. It has been going on right from the British times. The British also opposed the RSS. Dr. Hedgewar himself went to jail twice. Once in 1921 and once in 1930 during the Jungle Satyagraha. And in 1922, 12th July 1922, when he was released from jail after 1 year, there was a welcome party for him at Nagpur, which was attended by none other than Pandit Motilal Nehru himself. And Hakim Ajmal Khan also spoke in that program, because Dr. Hedgewar was working with the Congress at that time. Although he had started RSS in 1925, nevertheless, he was also part of the Congress. So whenever he went to jail, he went as a as an individual, not on part of the RSS. And he was very particular. He said all Swayamsevaks who take part in freedom struggle should take permission from their respective Sangha Chalaks. And many Swayamsevaks have taken part in such activities. But we are not on the side of propagating all these things for the sake of getting some public post and political post. So those who want to oppose the RSS are free to do it. But unfortunately, they are the people who don't study history, who don't study books, who don't try to understand RSS, but they are opposing only for the sake of opposition. And it is all politically motivated, ideologically motivated. So I'm not worried about it.
Can I just, Joe, point out what a political scientist, Christophe Jaffrelot, a noted political scientist, says? He says the RSS is primarily a movement that is totalitarian. It is in its attempt at controlling society, but controlling society from the inside. The state is not the objective. Society is the objective. That the RSS wants to control society and the minds of people and thereby build the idea of a Hindu society. That's what is the RSS's goal. And in the process, it looks for an enemy all the time. It could be Muslims one day, it could be Christian missionaries the other day, it could be the so-called Ghuspetiyas the other a third day. How do you respond to that?
No. See, he's totally wrong on all his philosophies and his theories. I have not read his theory, but from what you are saying, I am saying this. RSS is not worried about controlling the minds of the people. RSS is a social organization, and we are all concerned and worried about the Hindu society. It's not that it's only the RSS which is doing it. Even Mahatma Gandhi himself said that what is Hinduism? We have not defined Hinduism. It is Mahatma Gandhi who has said about Hinduism that it is a relentless pursuit of truth. And if it is moribund and irresponsive to growth, it is because when we says we means Hindu society is irresponsive to growth. That
But
is
sir,
what he says. Therefore, we are not saying
but 2
about Hindu
points,
society.
sir, 1 minute. 2 points come from what you said. Number one, you are quoting Gandhi. The fact is the RSS was deeply discomfited by Gandhi. Gandhi's idea was largely based on the idea of Hindu-Muslim unity at all costs. He even fought to try and prevent partition and eventually paid with his life. The RSS, on the other hand, wants to consolidate the idea of Hindu society through Hindu revivalism. So you can't really equate what the RSS's vision of a strong Hindu society is with what Gandhi spoke of, surely.
See, I am only quoting what Gandhi said in 1925. The RSS was also founded in 1925. Swami Vivekananda has also said the same thing. Dr. Annie Besant has said the same thing. Yogi Sri Aurobindo has said the same thing. We all, even Dr. Ambedkar himself said that Hindu society needs to be changed.
But the critics say RSS sees the Muslim as the enemy. That's the difference.
We
Even
don't
today.
see anybody. We don't see anybody as an enemy. There can be no enemy as far as the nation is concerned, as far as the Hindu society is concerned. We don't have any enemies. We are only looking at the positive aspect of social regeneration, nationalism, and we want to draw a broader line. Instead of having Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, and all these kinds of caste, creed, community, language identities, we want a larger national identity. We consider every citizen of India as a citizen and as a nationalist. We don't consider anybody as an enemy.
The second point you made is that you seem to suggest somewhere that RSS is primarily a social and cultural organization. How many social and cultural organizations will participate so actively in politics? How many social and cultural organizations will have pracharaks who are then loaned to a political party and become the Prime Minister of the country like Narendra Modi has? Surely that fiction has ended. The RSS today, why not accept, is no longer antiseptic to politics.
No, you are forgetting Atal Bihari Vajpayee and
Sure,
Advani.
and Advani ji, yes.
And there have been other people also.
So how can you call it only a social organization? It's a social organization with a clear political objective.
RSS is not a political organization. RSS does not believe that politics is the be-all and end-all of the society. But RSS Swayamsevaks, again I repeat, RSS Swayamsevaks are free to join any political party except those which either have extra constitutional authority or extra territorial loyalty. Except these two kinds of political parties, RSS Swayamsevaks are free to join political parties and hold office.
Sir, but they all join. Sir, why not accept it? Why not accept it that the Sangh Parivar is Hydra-headed? The RSS, you say, is social organization, but it has a political wing called the BJP. Would that not be a more honest way?
No. Sorry, Rajdeep. I'm surprised that you are asking this question. As a journalist of such a long standing, BJP is not the political organization or the wing of the RSS. BJP, I repeat, BJP is not the political wing of the RSS. It is an independent organization. It has its own constitution. It was founded in 1980 in the background of dual loyalty, which was created after 1977 and 1979. So BJP is not a political wing of the RSS. Be very clear about it. I'm
Okay.
surprised that you are asking this question.
No, no, sir, it's not me. I'm surprised that you are surprised, given the fact that the RSS, as you yourself admit, L.K. Advani, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Narendra Modi, many others, all of them in some way or the other owe allegiance to the RSS. They came from the womb of the RSS. But be that as it may, sir.
Rajdeep, there are Swayamsevaks in the Congress party also. I don't want to name them. They will
Right.
come into trouble.
Can I though ask you this, Sheshadri Chari? You came into the RSS in a way in the 1970s. It came as this movement that stood up to the emergency. There's a belief that power has in some way contaminated the RSS. For example, riches have come their way. Now you see opulent buildings like Keshav Kunj was reportedly built at 150 crores. There's a sense that with power comes wealth, and many of the old values of discipline or probity are losing out in the process. Do you agree with that? Has the RSS also in some form got corrupted as someone who grew up in an earlier RSS? What's the difference between the RSS that you grew up in and the RSS of today?
No. There is no difference between the RSS in which I grew up and the RSS in which I'm now presently also part of the RSS. And there are facilities which were not available in the 70s and 60s, which are now available. There have been times when 1955, 60, and even 1947 to 57, 67, even after up to emergency, there have been pracharaks who probably would not have got even 2 square meals a day. They had struggled, and they used to travel in ST buses. I have myself traveled in ST buses in Maharashtra, Konkan region, which you know very well. You are from Goa. You know how difficult it is to travel in those days. But now, since facilities are available, there is nothing wrong in making use of the facility. But RSS work does not depend only on logistic support and facility. It depends on the hard work of the Swayamsevaks and Pracharaks. So there is no difference between the RSS of 1925, 35, 45, 55, 65 and 2025. It is the same. The dedication is the same. The sincerity is the same. The hard work is the same. Only there are facilities which are available, which we are making use of. That's all. Nothing beyond it.
My final question is that there's a sense, Mr. Chari, that the RSS lacks transparency and public accountability. Does it have a clear constitution? How is a Sarsangchalak elected? All these questions are again asked by critics that the RSS is a very secretive organization, and it is an organization, therefore, that needs to be held more accountable for its actions or not. You today on the program are saying the BJP is not a political affiliate. Organizations like Bajrang Dal, organizations like VHP, all of them in a way are part of this Sangh Parivar. Is the RSS an organization that lacks public accountability? Would you agree?
No. The RSS has public accountability. RSS has a constitution. RSS holds meetings every year. The Pratinidhi Sabha is held every year. Every 3 years, the Sarkariva is elected. I'm repeating, elected. The Sarasanga Chalak is a fatherly post. It is a friend, philosopher, guide post, which is not elected. The Sarasanga Chalak was selected by earlier Sarasanga Chalaks, but from Balasaheb Devras's time, Balasaheb Devras made a change on this. He said even during his own lifetime, he demitted office and selected some other person like Sudarshanji as the Sarasanga Chalak. Sudarshanji also demitted office during his own lifetime, and Raju Bhaiya was elected. Raju Bhaiya to Sudarshanji, Sudarshanji to Mohan Bhagwat. So these things have changed. There is nothing that RSS keeps hiding. It is not a secret organization. Shakas are held in the open. Shakas are held in the open. There is no secrecy. You can come to any Shaka anytime, say whatever you want, keep within the discipline of the organization. That's all. Like if you go to a Gurudwara, you cover your head. If you come to RSS Shaka, you have to go do by the principles that the Shaka follows. Beyond that, you are a free person. You can criticize. There are people who are criticizing RSS even today. There are RSS Swayamsevaks who are criticizing RSS today. It's a totally transparent organization. I think there are people who need to understand RSS, come to Shaka and have a face-to-face interaction with RSS. Probably then these questions will not arise.
Sheshadri Chari, as someone who has been part of this organization for 40, 50 years and thereby knows the RSS inside out, I thank you very much for joining me and giving me your perspective on this special day, your eve of the centenary of the RSS. Thank you so much for joining me. Sheshadri Chari there. Let me raise big questions though that widen the debate from what we heard from Mr. Chari. What is RSS's role in independent India and indeed in the independent movement? Is it building the nation or dividing society? What is the RSS's concept of a Hindu Rashtra? As I said, the RSS's role in freedom fight, false history. But what explains the RSS's endurance and its rise today? Joining me now, Sudhindra Kulkarni, activist and columnist, someone who was associated with the Vajpayee government particularly closely. Mridula Mukherjee is historian. I appreciate both of you joining us. Let me come to you, Sudhindra Kulkarni. I've been reading a piece you've just written for Frontline magazine, where you've said the challenge for the RSS is to ensure that it is less exclusionary. You want to explain what you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh is essentially a Hindu nationalist organization. But it has to confront the fact that India is multi-religious and there are non-Hindus in fairly large numbers, especially Muslims. Now, so far, Muslims have not been part of the mainstream of the RSS, even though in recent years they have established a wing called Muslim Rashtriya Manch. But that's a marginal organization. Now, over the years, RSS has been grappling with the Muslim question in ways that has both positives and negatives. I would like to highlight the positive aspect because, we cannot understand the RSS only if we focus on the positives or only if we focus on the negatives. The main criticism of the RSS is that it is anti-Muslim. There is some truth to it, but there is also another side to it. Over the years, the top leaders of the RSS, including the Sarsang Chalak, they have been making efforts to reach out to Muslims. And this has been going on from the days of Guruji Golwalkar, the second and the longest serving Sarsang Chalak of the RSS, right up to Dr. Mohan Bhagwat now. Dr. Mohan Bhagwat, as we all know, has been making efforts to reach out to Muslims. He's had series of meetings with Muslim religious, social leaders. Now, going back to Golwalkar, Golwalkar made some truly revealing statements on Muslims, which unfortunately the critics are not paying attention to. I would like to highlight one specific thing. In 1972, he was interviewed by the legendary editor Khushwant Singh of the Illustrated Weekly of India. And Khushwant Singh asked him, what do you think of the Muslim issue? Golwalkar says that I am of the firm view that it is only because of historical reasons that a certain alienation has arisen between Hindus and Muslims, for which he says both Muslims and Hindus are responsible. Further, he said that it is wrong to hold the entire community responsible for the wrongdoings of some people belonging to that community. He also said that I am confident that both Hindutva and Islam can coexist harmoniously in India. Similarly, Dr. Mohan Bhagwat has recently said that anyone who says that Islam has no place in India is not a Hindu. He's called it sin. It is sin against Hinduism. So let us take these positive aspects of the RSS, build on it. I am a firm proponent of dialogue between the RSS and its critics, dialogue between RSS and Muslims, dialogue between RSS and the Congress. This alone can unite our society and overcome the absolutely debilitating divisions that have taken place in our polity.
we can selectively quote both Golwalkar and Bhagwat. There are positive aspects and there are other statements also that they have made over the years which are interpreted very differently. But Mridula Mukherjee, you heard Sudhindra Kulkarni saying the time has come for a dialogue between the critics of the RSS and the RSS. How do you respond to that? Have the left historians in particular demonized the RSS from day one and therefore don't look at perhaps some of the more positive aspects of the RSS's work in terms of social service during flood relief? Do they only focus on its anti-Muslim stance that emerges from time to time?
You know, I'm not here as a spokesperson for any left historians. You're asking me a concrete question, I'll give you a concrete answer.
Please do.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, this imputing of, you know, certain notions, etc., I think let's get away from that. First question you asked was about, is a dialogue desirable? Is it possible? Well, I think in any democratic society, who can be against the idea of a dialogue? I think, obviously, I mean, as Indians, we would like this society. It is a plural society. There are many points of view represented in it. And if a dialogue can bring about change and coming together of different sections of society, I said, who can stand in the way of it? But the issue is not of certain statements made by certain leaders at different points in time. As we know, we can, as you just said, we can quote one statement, I can quote another, and we could go on. The issue is what is happening at the level of practice. You look at India today, in which the RSS obviously exercises enormous influence. And if we don't accept that, we are just, I think, not being honest over this government and what's going on in different parts of the country. Is India not getting more and more polarized and divided every day? The language I read in the newspapers shocks me and pains me when I hear the Chief Minister of UP yesterday and the last 3 days issuing the kind of threats he's issuing by name to Muslims, you know, as a community, where there's bulldozing going on against the, you know, law laid down by the Supreme Court. I mean, what do I do with just pious statements? That's, look at it from the point of view of somebody who could be a victim or even somebody who's a scholar or a citizen. I think we have to go beyond that. And if we want to go to the period before independence, since you asked me, that is it left historians who from the beginning have vilified the RSS, I'm sorry. The people who have understood from the beginning what RSS ideology is and have opposed it, left historians, leftists, they were all marginal forces. Forget them. It is the Indian National Congress and its foremost leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Azad, Sardar Patel, you can name it. All of them knew and opposed the politics and the ideology of the RSS and the Hindu Mahasabha. So there was the freedom movement on one side and Hindu Mahasabha RSS on the other and the Muslim League. So there were communalists and there were nationalists. I think if we forget this distinction, and of course if we forget the whole design of the British from the middle of the 19th century to divide the people of India along religious lines to perpetuate their rule, and if we don't see both the communalists, Muslim and Hindu, as falling prey to that, we don't understand Indian history and we don't understand the freedom struggle. As far as the RSS role in freedom struggle is concerned, let me spend just half a minute on that since Sheshadri ji, Chari ji did speak on that. I think, you know, just by giving examples of Hedgewar going to jail in 1932, I mean, in 1930 in the civil disobedience movement, I mean, we all know these facts. The fact is that Hedgewar said RSS will not join the civil disobedience movement. He left his position as Sarsang Chalak and said, I will join not the civil disobedience movement launched by Gandhiji, I will start a forest satyagrah. At the same time, I will also go to jail. And it was also said, I will go to jail because I'll be able to influence the youth who are in that jail. RSS workers in their individual capacity could join. Now tell me, if you are a militant nationalist organization wanting to fight the British, wanting to unite all Indians, why would you do all this fine tuning? You know, we will not.
The Prime Minister, Ms. Mukherjee, the Prime Minister, Ms. Mukherjee, today said that the RSS participated in the Quit India movement. He said the RSS was that the RSS opposed the British.
What can I say? I mean, there are facts on one side, there are British records on one side, there are archival records, there are home political files, there are evidences. I mean, historians and others have quoted chapter and verse. So Prime Minister is free to not accept the facts of history. What can I do about it? I have my understanding as a historian of history. It doesn't have to match that of the Prime Minister of India. He has his opinion, I have mine.
You know, in a sense, Sudhindra Kulkarni, is the RSS in a way trying to erase its past. It's very convenient. One day you say you're a cultural organization, one day you say you're charitable, one day you're saying political. Today I had Sheshadri Chari on my show saying we are not political at all. I mean, does the RSS also have to come clean on what exactly does the RSS, what exactly is the RSS then? If one day you're political, one day you're cultural, one day you're social, see, is that also part? They've got to be more transparent. They've got to be more accountable.
Politics and political power is at the very heart and the center of the RSS agenda. There is simply no denying this. Otherwise, two Pracharaks would not have become Prime Minister, and even after becoming Prime Minister, they have praised the RSS, both Vajpayee and Narendra Modi today. So that's not an issue we should spend too much time on. What I would like to clarify, Rajdeep, is that harmony in our society, unity in our society, national integration is of utmost importance. And this is where the RSS, as the foremost Hindu organization, has a responsibility it cannot shy away from. There is a certain gap between Kathani and Karani. What it says and what it allows things to happen are two different things. We all know there are some really positive things, good things that RSS leaders have spoken from time to time about Muslims and the need for dialogue with Muslims, integration of Muslims on an equal basis. At the same time, the reality on the ground is quite different. Today,
that's precisely the point. What's the use of a dialogue in an abstract in a seminar room when you've got the Bajrang Dal, which will then lead campaigns against Muslims in the name of Gau Rakshaks, when you will have bulldozer action that takes place, when you will have the normalization of hate speech. I mean, it's all very well to say we want a dialogue and then resort to constant vilification, demonization of Muslims.
Rajdeep, this issue is quite complex and it has historical roots. We cannot either understand or overcome this problem without looking at it in its totality. Had India not been partitioned on the basis of the poisonous two-nation theory advanced by the Muslim League, had Pakistan not been Islamized and completely reduced the Hindu community, the Sikh community to second-grade citizens, had they not promoted Islamic extremism, things in India would have been different and RSS would not have been so strong as it is today. And therefore, this issue has to be seen in its totality. Now, there is no organization, I repeat, there is not a single organization in India, whether it is the Congress, the Communists, or the RSS BJP, which is faultless. They all have their sins. The reason I am advocating dialogue is that the only way to go forward is to take up what is good in every organization and build on that. Otherwise, we will go towards civil war.
Okay, your point is taken. Let me therefore give a final word to you, Mridula Mukherjee. You raised your finger. Here you've got Sudhindra Kulkarni saying, let's take the best of each organization. Let's not look at the worst.
I mean, as I said, who can disagree with such fine sentiments? I mean, I can't disagree with that, can I? It's like apple, mom and apple pie or whatever is the phrase. But I wanted to make a comment on what Mr. Kulkarni said a little earlier about the historical background. I mean, we are all aware what the Muslim League did, how India got partitioned, what has happened. But are we to remain trapped in that? Are we to become victims of what has happened before independence and what Pakistan has done to itself? We say we are 10 times the GDP of Pakistan. We are a secular country. Look at our constitution. So more than 75 years ago, we've gone far ahead of what Pakistan is. Why should we remain trapped in that? That cannot be a justification for what we are doing to ourselves now. Why do we want to now become a Hindu Pakistan? Is that what we want to become?
Then?
Is
so
that
what
the
if
future
we
for
don't
us?
want to become a Hindu Pakistan, but the fact is the RSS today has huge traction. The fact is the BJP has huge traction. What does that suggest in conclusion, Mridula Mukherjee? Has India changed?
The way I look upon it, the way I assess things is that from the late 80s onwards, from emergency days when they first came back into respectability, and then from the late 80s with the Ram Janmabhoomi movement and all that, the RSS at the core of it and BJP as the political kind of representative, they have ridden a certain course and they have done various things have happened which have brought them into prominence in Indian politics. I do not, however, believe, like many people do, many of my colleagues believe, that this also means that there has been a total transformation, at least of the so-called Hindu mind. I think that there are vast majority, including among Hindus, who for various reasons have voted for the BJP. One doesn't vote only on a single issue. There are so many issues and there are labhartis now and doles being given here and this being happening there. So, and I think there are large parts of the country where that ideology doesn't hold sway, where that politics doesn't hold sway. There are large sections of the people. Look what happened in the Kisan movement in 1921. Punjab, has it bought into this ideology? Has Tamil Nadu, has Kerala, has Bengal? It's a question of how you look at it. If you look at it from the heartlet, you sit in Delhi only, hear what's happening in UP or Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, you get a certain picture. So I believe as a historian that in fact the impulse of Indian history is in the direction of diversity, pluralism, secularism.
Okay.
And that RSS and its ideology is actually a diversion from it.
Sudhindra Kulkarni, I'll give you 30 seconds.
And we will
I have
come
no
back
more
to our
time.
boring.
I want to make one
30
final point,
seconds.
Rajiv.
Yes.
In order not to get trapped in the past, we should not remain prisoners of the past. In order to create a new future for India and for the whole of South Asia, we have to move towards Hindu-Muslim harmonization and the inevitable other side of it, that is India-Pakistan normalization. The time has come when Pakistan has to change, India has to change, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all of us have to come together. And that is, in fact, it goes to the Akhand Bharat concept. All those who were opposed to partition of India should now work towards reuniting the subcontinent.
Sudhindra, that's another debate
Union.
That's another debate for another day. Our focus today was on the RSS, its role. I'm going to leave it at that. But I appreciate listening to a variety of viewpoints. The diversity that we try on this program is the diversity I hope that we see on the streets of India. It's really the people of India who are the ones who need to embrace that diversity in the truest sense. And maybe the RSS needs to tell us how they are going to promote diversity in the truest sense. I appreciate my guests joining me on the show. Let me turn to the other big political story that's been making news over the last few days. After missing in action for 4 days, TVK chief Vijay, remember, finally appeared on Tuesday. That's yesterday. Vijay released his first video statement regarding the Karur statement, saying the truth will come out soon, and also cried conspiracy. Now Vijay is saying that for the next 2 weeks, he will stop all campaigning. So the big story that's coming at the moment is that Vijay has said, I will stop all campaigning for 2 weeks. Pramod Madhav will give us a quick update on that. Pramod, what does this mean? Does this mean that Vijay is waiting and watching to see what impact the Karur stampede has? How do we read this, the pressing of the pause button on his campaign?
Well, Rajdeep, there is no other option for Vijay currently, as there are like multiple legal cases against his second-level leaders, be it Busi Anand, be it CTR Nirmal Kaur, or Adav Arjun, who has also flown to Delhi saying that he has some personal work, and these things he needs to sort out. And the major tragedy that occurred in Karur, there is like a lot of things Vijay has to explain, and there is no absolute possibility that he could get any kind of permission anytime soon, unless and until he could get any kind of relief from the court. So all these things he needs to sort out before even think about actually going ahead with his campaign. But Vijay, one thing he said is that he will actually continue his political journey much more stronger. He requested his fans to be with him, and he's also like extending his support. But for now, for the next 2 weeks, his campaign has been halted, Rajdeep.
Next 2 weeks, his campaign has been halted. Clearly, he's waiting, many believe, to see what impact the entire stampede now has on his political ambitions. Appreciate, Pramod Madhav, you joining me. Let me turn to one of our special stories tonight. Death of a young journalist in Uttarkashi in Uttarakhand has sparked outrage, raised serious questions once again about press freedom and safety. A journalist, a YouTuber, Rajiv Pratap, went missing on September 18. He had been questioning the government, exposing various local level corruption. 10 days later, his body was recovered. Was it really a tragic road accident, as the police suggest? Or was it a planned conspiracy, as his family claims? Here's tonight's ground report.
An independent journalist's mysterious death in Uttarkashi has raised concerns about the safety of journalists, especially in remote areas. Rajiv Pratap, who reports for a YouTube channel, went missing on September 18th. 10 days later, the police recovered his body from the Joshiara barrage. Rajiv's wife, Muskan, who's expecting their first child, says she last spoke to him around 11:15 p.m. on the night he went missing. He was driving a car belonging to his friend.
लास्ट अपने हस्बैंड से 11:15 बजे बात हुई थी. उसके बाद उनका फ़ोन स्विच ऑफ हो गया. 15-20-25 मिनट के अंदर उनका फ़ोन स्विच ऑफ हो गया था. 11:50 पे मैंने अपने हस्बैंड को एक मैसेज किया था. मैंने कहा आप घर पहुंच जाओ, उसके बाद हम बात करते हैं. सर, वो मैसेज मेरे हस्बैंड को डिलीवर नहीं हुआ.
The police say Rajiv was last seen in public at an eatery with his friends. From the restaurant, he left in the car from Gyanshu to Gangotri. On September 19th, his car was found in damaged condition near the Bhagirathi River at Siona. The police recovered his slippers from the cars, and his body was found after days of search on September 28th. The investigators, citing post-mortem report and CCTV footage, say Rajiv met with an accident.
20 तारीख को जो वाहन जो आखिरी बार श्री राजीव प्रताप चलाते हुए दिखे थे सीसीटीवी फुटेज में, 20 तारीख को ये वाहन क्षतिग्रस्त हालत में भागीरथी नदी में ये मिला, और ये जो ऑल्टो कार थी ये लगभग पुल से 55 मीटर नीचे गिरी थी.
Rajiv's family claim the incident took place in an area without CCTV coverage.
जहाँ पे दुर्घटना घटी है वहाँ पे उस रेंज में 800 मीटर तक कोई कैमरा नहीं है. तो वहाँ पे क्या हुआ है, एक्चुअल में हुआ क्या है, वो कोई नहीं बोल सकता है, क्योंकि उससे पीछे भी 600 मीटर, मतलब कि जहाँ पे कैमरा लास्ट बार वो देखे गए हैं उससे और आगे जहाँ पे दुर्घटना हुई है वो कम से कम 700-800 मीटर का वहाँ पे रोड है, जहाँ पे बिल्कुल कोई कैमरा नहीं है और सुनसान रोड है.
शराब वराब कर्मचारी सेवन करते हैं और छत के.
The family claims Rajiv was getting threats after his recent reports on alleged consumption of alcohol by the staff at a government hospital in Uttarkashi and other stories on local corruption.
उन्होंने जो लास्ट वीडियो बनाई थी कुछ तो मंदिर समिति से थी सर, और कुछ हॉस्पिटल से थी, और कुछ उन्होंने एक स्कूल है सर वहाँ की कुछ वीडियो बनाई थी, और सड़क के मुद्दे उन्होंने सर उठाए थे. उसी दौर में सर उनको बहुत सारी कॉल आ रही थी कि हम तुम्हें मार डालेंगे, वीडियो डिलीट कर दे, घर से उठा के ले जाएंगे. सर वो परेशान थे सर बहुत.
Several media bodies, including the National Alliance of Journalists and the Press Club of India, have called for a thorough investigation into Rajiv Pratap's death. With Ankit Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's turn to our Get Real India story, and it comes today about 2 young lives lost after consuming government-supplied cough syrup, now suspected to contain a toxic chemical. What began as isolated tragedies in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan is now snowballing into a major public health scare. Take a look at tonight's ground report from my colleague Sneha Mordani.
First Madhya Pradesh and now Rajasthan. Mysterious deaths of children as young as 5 has shaken up both the states. A 5-year-old child died in Sikar after consuming a cough syrup provided under the state's free medicine scheme. A 3-year-old child in Bharatpur fell seriously ill after taking the same brand of syrup.
भरतपुर और सीकर से शिकायत आई थी कि ये डेक्स्ट्रोमेथोर्फिन सिरप जो है इससे बच्चों को लेने पे परेशानी आई। जांच के लिए सैंपल्स ड्रॉ किए जिसको हमने प्रयोगशाला के अंदर भेज दिए हैं और साथ ही साथ इस दवाई के उपयोग के ऊपर रोक लगा दी गई है।
In Madhya Pradesh, the victim suffered acute kidney failure. Investigations suggest the cough syrups administered to the children contained unsafe levels of diethylene glycol, DEG, a toxic chemical.
4 तारीख से लेके विगत यूँ समझिए कि 26 तारीख तक आपके परासिया क्षेत्र का जो है उसमें से कुल 6 डेथ्स जो है वो रिपोर्ट हुई हैं। उसके अंदर एक सिमिलरिटी पाई गई कि ये जो है कि इनको सबको काज ऑफ डेथ जो है एनोरिया मतलब कि पेशाब का ना बनना और पेशाब का ना होना पाया गया।
The district collector in Madhya Pradesh has imposed a ban on the sale of 2 specific cough syrups. Advisories have been issued for parents, doctors and medical store operators to prevent further casualties.
जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल होंगे, अगर इवन मेडिसिन भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है तो जो मेडिकल के बनाने वाले हैं, मेडिसिन के बनाने वाले, उन पर भी ड्रग इंस्पेक्टर उन्होंने सैंपल्स लिए हैं, उनके प्रोटोकॉल के तहत जो भी कार्रवाई होगी वो की जाएगी। अगर किसी डॉक्टर्स या किसी की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फाइंडिंग में आएगी तो वो भी देखा जाएगा कि उस पर क्या कार्रवाई करनी है।
So what really is diethylene glycol? DEG is a toxic industry solvent mistakenly substituted for safer diluents like glycerine or propylene glycol in medications, especially in countries with inadequate quality control. Gambia and Indonesia have seen these poisoning incidents as well in the year 2022, where 250 children died from pediatric cough syrups contamination with DEG and ethylene glycol, as reported by the World Health Organization. Uzbekistan saw this incident. 60 children died from DEG contaminated cough syrup, leading to an epidemic of acute kidney injury and death. This incident, a similar one reported from Haiti in the 1990s as well, and in Panama in the year 2006. Back home in India, between December 2019 and January 2020, 12 children in the Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir died after consuming a diethylene glycol, a DEG-tainted cough syrup called Cold Best PC. The government has now ordered a detailed probe. A team of the National Center for Disease Control is collecting samples, water samples as well, to check the drugs also, and these drugs are getting tested from MP and in Rajasthan. The use of the syrup for now has been suspended in both these states. With Bureau Inputs, Sneha Mordani in New Delhi for India Today Television.
Okay, it's the day before Dussehra and today is indeed Mahanavami. Kolkata in particular is in celebration. Tonight, I want to leave you with a report on a puja pandal that focuses on the pain of war. Trust the people of Kolkata to always come up with imaginative puja pandal themes. I wish all of you a very happy Dussehra. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubh Ratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Durga Puja festivities are at their peak. Kolkata has transformed into the world's biggest open art gallery. As lakhs of spectators throng the Durga Puja pandals, here is one that has got special attention this year. The pandal at the Behala Friends Club Puja highlights the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
This theme is based on the war-ridden city, where we are trying to depict the hardship of the common people. We have related this set with the past and the present.
The theme of this puja pandal is Navanno, which is based on the title of a 1944 play by Vijay Bhattacharya on the Bengal famine. Creators of this pandal have juxtaposed the starvation deaths of the 1943 Bengal famine with the unfolding humanitarian crisis in present-day Gaza.
We are depicting the hardship of ours in 1943 for the infamous Bengal famine. And the inner message is that war doesn't give any peace, it gives hardship, whether it is past or it is present.
I saw like how the rice and all the food that are stored in the markets or anywhere, so how to make this disaster happen in the world. So the portrait is all about how foods has gone from our India to somewhere else, and how our Indians are having that pressure and that crisis.
The devastation and human suffering comes alive as audiences are greeted with gunshots marked on the walls, sunlight streaking through broken concrete roof as if struck by a missile.
This is one of the famous poets who is now she's staying in a refugee camp with her children. She has specially described this to describe her hardships.
The artist here sends out a strong anti-war message, be it the one at Palestine or in Ukraine. The message is very clear that war will only lead to more human suffering and therefore the need for human empathy. With camera person Tapus Bairi, Indrajit for India Today.